Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
I like the way the red look in this camera. All right. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I know, happy Black History Month as well. I don't think I've been able to tell y'all that just yet. Anyway, man, I'm not gonna lie. I look real good today, you know. I like the way that this red is showing off today. It's looking real good. However, it has been a very good month so far, a very productive month. It also has been like a rough month at the same time. What I will say is, like, you know, we made it through. We took care of it. Regardless of what was going on, like, everything is going smooth as far as life, as far as work, you know, as far as the kids. With all the little trials and tribulations we've had, you know, everything is still going great, so I'm pretty happy about that. We started off the month sick with a cold. It was like, I think one of the kids started it. They gave it to me, and I think I had, like, man, I was working hard that week, so my body was pretty vulnerable when you know, being around the kids so much. I was already weak as it was. However, I ended up getting sick, man, and when I tell y'all, I probably recovered, maybe last week. It was a couple weeks I was down. No, I was down for about 2 weeks altogether, 2.5 weeks. And the cough finally went away. You know, my body was super, super weak. I couldn't do anything at first. Like, when I tell y'all, it was tough just to get up to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? I literally had to, you know, Diamond had to make me a bath for me to sit in the bath to bathe myself. My body was that weak. I couldn't do anything. I was in nothing but lazy mode for about 2 to 3 days straight, where I wouldn't eat nothing. I couldn't move. I sat in front of a heater for the most part. Probably wasn't the best idea to do, but I did. But it was horrible, man. I don't really get sick like that, which is why it kind of threw me off. Typically, you know, my immune system is pretty strong, but I guess it can't fight everything, right? I took like so many COVID tests, and they all came back negative. But I just had to be sure, because, you know, the little ones are around the house. Plus, I'm going into work still, you know, so I got to make sure the kids are okay. But it was horrible to be down that long, when normally when I do get sick, 3 days max, 3 to 4 days max, and everything is back to good health. I did everything I normally do. I made the hot tea with a little bit of whiskey and the lemon and the honey and the bay leaves and cinnamon and all of that good stuff. I did everything I was supposed to. I tried to torch myself underneath the blanket after drinking the tea for the whole night and you know, torch the room. That didn't work. I was just, man, I don't know what was going on. I was going through it. But I do want to give a special shout out to Diamond. I appreciate her for sure, because, man, when I tell you she held it down while I was sick, man, she held it down. Whether it was getting the kids, taking them, picking them up from school, from making dinner for everybody, like, she held it down. So much appreciated for all the hard work that she put in on that. Definitely would have, I probably would have been fucked off without her being around that time to help out and make sure we was all okay. Because when I tell you, it got to the point where once I got sick, it was just to the point where it's like me, Miracle, and Junior all got sick at the same time. That's exactly how it was. We all got sick at the same time. And I don't know for the life of me why it happened that way, but we also started getting better, you know, one at a time. So I got better. Then I want to say Junior got better, then Miracle got better. You know, Miracle was the last one down. And when my baby was sick, she wouldn't do anything. She was just like a daddy. She laid in that bed for about 2 or 3 days straight, just being catered to and taken care of until she felt better. However, you know, after all of that said and done, we got it all out the way. We all got, you know, better. Everybody got better. We went to wash. We went to sanitize everything because it was just like, God damn, it was a lot. But Yeah, it was a whole gang, man. It took us all out. That little cold took us all out for at least a week or two. Me, for sure, for sure. I'm just glad it's over with. I don't have to worry about being sick for a while again. And for y'all that ask, I do drink emergency stuff like that. Little things to keep my immune system stronger and going. But I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest vitamin person where I take every single vitamin I should. I see I got the one a days. You know what I mean? Take them once a day and call it a day. And that's exactly what I use. Exactly what I use. Other than that, the kids are doing amazing. You know what I mean? In school, they're doing better. They actually hacked their auntie and uncle's Netflix account, and they all created accounts with their names. So I'm sure Terrence and Kalila were the masterminds behind it. But they deleted their accounts. They made accounts under Terrence, Kalila, and Miracle's name. They took over. And all we know is we got a phone call saying that every show was deleted. And I'm like, oh, well, let's see what they're talking about. Come to find out, my kids just felt like they should have had their own profiles on Netflix, and they went about it the way they, knew. I don't even know how their Netflix was signed into the kids' Roku, but, yeah, maybe their mom did it. But I thought it was pretty funny. They said this is our Netflix now. You can go pay for a different one or go get a different one. Anyway. Besides that, we've also made another trip to go to California Adventures, but this is a kid-free trip, So we've asked a few people if they wanted to tag along. We're trying to do it like a couples-themed trip, like you don't have to worry about kids. We just have freedom. Maybe 2 days, 3 days max. We're gonna rent out an Airbnb. I think it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fun. We're just trying to see if anybody wants to come. We've got about 1 to 2 couples already coming. I would say 2 couples that are going to be coming already. So we need like at least 1 to 2 more, right? California Adventures. Going to go have fun for the weekend. It'll be sometime next month. You know what I mean? Talk to me. Let me know. We're going to figure it out. But it's going to be fun, kid-free. Because we all need vacations. We all need time to ourselves. Like, we just need a little getaway as adults, like a worry-free weekend or a couple of days off. I'm not concerned about my children because they'll be with their grandmother as well as their, aunties, and Nana. So they always get treated well over there. So I'm going to have the time of my life, and I can't wait to go to Cars Land. If you know me, you know I cannot wait to go to Cars Land. I've been super excited about it, super, super excited. Speaking of all of that going on, I got something really important to talk to y'all about because it's that time of the year, and a lot of y'all are tending, to already show signs of bad spending habits, which is just not okay. All I can say is ultimately taxes are coming. And for those with children or dependents, you get back a pretty decent amount every year with tax money. All I'm gonna say is really try to be smart. You know what I mean? This year, try to do better. And I'm not saying not to have fun and spoil and treat yourself, because this trip to California Adventures is my way of treating myself. It's what my way of treating us, because we need it sometimes. We need a break. But at the same time, that trip only came because everything else I needed to take care of responsibly, left us with a little extra than we expected, enough to afford a vacation and still have some savings on top of getting bills and everything paid up for a few months. So with that being said, we went through the numbers. We went through what we need to do, what responsibilities we need to take care of, what investments we need to make for the future for us and the little ones, and we have a game plan for it. There's a budget that we will not go over for this trip. There is a budget. Yeah, we already looked at the Airbnb prices, the days, the trips, the ticket prices. We looked at it all, and we literally have already gone over the budget, and we'll still have extra spending money going out there to do so. But we didn't take anything from any other bill, from any other responsibility, any other investment we needed to make. We're going to do it the smart way this year. Instead of us just going out there and just trying to play catch up, we're going to play catch up, but also, this year we don't really have to play catch up, which is great. But we can also put ourselves ahead while enjoying, a little vacation, having some fun. And I'm happy about that. I can't wait for it to actually go through, especially with everything that's been going on at the end of the day. You know, one thing that I want to talk about when it comes to taxes is a lot of people, I think y'all are doing it for the money, right? When it comes to wanting to claim the kids or being cordial with the co-parent or the other parent, whatever the case may be. I have the confidence, and I mean, any one of you can ask her, she'll tell you herself, to say that it has never been about the money for me when it comes to taxes. Never. I don't care. She could be getting her tax return tomorrow, and we can get into a heated argument tonight, and I will walk the fuck off and call it a day. You know what I mean? Because it's never about the money with me. And I think that's why when it comes to tax season, we get along so well. When it comes to coordinating for doing for the kids, getting what they need, getting what they need ahead of time, paying for things that they may need in school ahead of time, you know, getting ready for summer, preparing for stuff like that. We've always been able to hit the nail on the coffin. As many times as I've talked about me and her on this show, you've always heard me acknowledge the fact that when it comes to these kids, we do our goddamn thing. Like, we are on it. You know what I mean? We take care of it. And what tax time does for us, it sets us up for that following year or for that current year. It sets us up to be able to say, hey, we know, like, we have 4 kids now, right? So we know we have a birthday, and, you know, not to forget, we have her birthday, which is New Year's, right? Diamond's birthday. Then we have me and Junior's birthday, which is June. Then we have Kalila for July, right? Then we have Terrence for October and Miracle for November. And then not to mention Christmas in December, right? So what we know with that information is, let's pay some of these bills up for about 3, maybe 4 months. Take the money we're getting from our paychecks. Well, you know, right now, Diamond isn't working, but that is okay with me. I am perfectly fine with it for right now, because it's giving us a balance and the stability and foundation in home to help with the kids and everything in the background, to where she don't have to worry about none of that. I already told her, I said, listen, I may stress about everything else going on when I go out into the world. I may stress about it all. I may stress about these bills. I may stress about this. I may stress about that. But at the end of the day, it's just your job to make sure I don't have to stress about nothing that's going on in the household. Simple things. I'll take care of everything that's needed to be taken care of. You just make sure home is okay. And it's been working out perfectly fine for us. We haven't had any issues. We haven't had any disagreements we couldn't work out. We couldn't talk through. It's growth. It's amazing. It's good to see. But with all of that being said, like, at this point, I'm going to be a provider. I'm going to do what I have to do as a man to take care of my family. It's, you know, whatever happened with her job, it was a little BS. It is what it is. We all have to remember we're living in Nevada, in Las Vegas. This is a right-to-work state, okay? They can walk in and see that you are having on blue socks instead of red socks that day, and they can fire you because of that, because they just want to. So they don't need a reason to let anybody go. Everybody needs to understand that, for one. They don't need a reason to let you go. But just because of that, I'm not going to treat her different because she's not working. I'm not going to act different towards her. I'm not going to disrespect her. I've been very respectful. I've been very helpful. I make sure I use we statements. My kids came in the room one day and they said something about, well, my daddy got money and you don't. And I had to correct them and say, well, my money is her money. We do have money. Y'all don't have money, you little broke motherfuckers. Y'all don't have no money. But little things like that, you know, I just reaffirm that regardless of whatever's going on, we're a team. We are a team. We do it together. We work through it together. We build together. And I'm glad I said that, because that brings me into what one of the things I want to talk about today, which is balance. You know, like, I am so tired of everybody and the traditional roles, gender roles. I'm tired of it all. I'm over it. At the end of the day, y'all are talking about things that are roles that for everyday life. So you up here and saying traditional or gender roles is the woman should cook, the woman should clean, the woman should do this. But if you didn't have a woman, how would you eat if you didn't know how to cook? You're going to eat out all the time, fast food? How would your clothes stay clean all the time if you didn't know how to wash? These are basic life skills that you should know. Don't talk about traditional, you know, women and men in traditional times, because we're not in traditional times. You're talking about times where at the point where women weren't really allowed to work at that time when it was traditional, where being a stay-at-home wife was the only thing that they could do, right? So the men had to work. But when you talk about current times in today's society, they can work if they want, right? They can have their own homes, their own cars, own businesses. Women can do everything that we can do. It's so funny because I was talking to a friend the other day and I was telling him that, and he said, "Oh, so you mean equal rights, equal fights?" And I'm like, "No, it's not what I meant. It's a dark joke. It's funny, but it's not. That's not what I meant. It shouldn't play like that." What I mean by that is, in today's society, in today's times, we're all on equal footing. But there are certain things that we both can do to help each other, to benefit each other, right? Balance is here for a reason. Balance is here to make sure it all weighs out, okay? Without balance, of course, you got the scales always going opposite ways, one way this way, that way this way, tornadoes. And nobody likes it, nobody appreciates it, but some of you like sticking into that toxic lifestyle of that. You know, you like being in a tornado. You like being twisted upside down all the time. I don't understand why. For the life of me, I cannot understand why, but you do. So, me personally, I just want to shed a little bit of light on my personal opinions about some things here. And, you know, whether you agree or disagree, these are my opinions and my opinions only. So, you know, you can argue with them all you want, but they're just how I feel. That's, you know, how I go off of it. Mainly, though, we talk about a relationship and everyone is afraid of the whole 50-50 conversation. And the thing about that 50-50 conversation is I don't even like the term 50-50. Anybody I've ever, you know, dated or talked to, I've always said one thing about it. Don't tell me you're going to go 50-50 with me. Because that means you're only giving me half of yourself. Half of you. I deserve 100% of you, just like I'm going to give you 100% of me. So what I do believe is we can always go all in, but some days you may not be at 100%. So I got to pick up that extra 30%, extra 40%, extra 70%. And some days I may not be at 100%, and you got to pick up the extra baggage for me. But the reason for balance on that is that we help each other. We be there for each other. So in a relationship, it's not about who's got most, who's got this, who can do better. It's about the fact that we're trying to build something. And we're trying to build it together. We want it to be healthy. We want it to be strong. We want the foundation to be as solid as can be. We don't want to have to worry about any cracks, you know, through the build. We don't want to worry about none of that. We want to make sure that everything we're building from the foundation up is going to be something that cannot be destroyed. No matter who tries to penetrate it, it cannot be destroyed. And right now what's going on is you got each other trying to say, well, you know what? Since you think the porch, and we're going to use a house for example, since you think the porch is going to be a better part for this part, you work it on that one and I'll work on the backyard. I'll do that one. Now you got y'all working against each other building the same house. How is that working? How is that going to operate if y'all are building in separate parts of the house, trying to build the same house together? You can't meet in the middle. You can't start from the outside and then meet in the middle is what I mean by that. But you can meet in the middle and build from there. You know what I mean? You can compromise, you can talk, you can work through it, you can have conversations. I hate that right now everyone is so afraid to have uncomfortable conversations, when in all reality, that's how you grow. Like, how are you going to get to the next level if you're sitting there worried about, or you're not trying to worry about what the issues really are? Yeah, you may not want to talk about this thing because it may have hurt your feelings to talk about it, or you may feel some type of way about it, or you may feel passionately about it. But guess what? You may need to have that conversation so that way your feelings can be subsided. Well, your feelings can be acknowledged, you know, about what's going on. But when you sit here and you try to avoid it all and just want to here, there, this, like, you don't really get too far with that. When you want to work as a team, you have to really understand the work as a team. Because regardless, I don't care what's going on. I don't care how mad I am at you. If we're out in the rain and I've got an umbrella, I'm going to let you be under the umbrella. Whether it's big enough for me or you or both of us, you're going to be under there. Regardless, whether it's just you or it's both of us. Because I don't care how mad I am, I still care about you. Just because we're into it or we're tripping with each other does not mean I stopped caring about you. Where does that make sense? Some of you will sit up there, and when that happens, you'll get the laugh, and I told you should have brought you an umbrella. I'm okay because I'm under the rain. Like, chill. Come on now. There's really no need for all of that. There's really no need for all of that. But you can't be in a relationship trying to one-up your partner. Because at that point, you're not in a relationship. You're in competition. And if you want to compete, go join a sport. I don't think a relationship is a sport. I think it's kind of like a job. You have to work hard at it and stay consistent in order to make sure you're successful, right? But man, who am I? Who am I? One thing I said that to Diamond is, because there's an issue right now in life and society. And now there are a lot of women that are already submissive, so you don't really have to worry too much about this. There are some women, let me rephrase that. There are some women that are submissive, and they understand what it means to be submissive. However, you have some women that don't. They don't really understand it. They don't get it. But I let it be known. I told Diamond, there is no arguing over what I want about this one, that I want a woman that's going to be completely submissive. So if she wants to be there, she has to be completely submissive. I've never done anything to steer this family wrong. I never have, never will, never choose to. I'm always looking out for her and the kids' best interest. There's no reason not to be. There's no reason. I'm not, the respect is there, the commitment is there. You know what I mean? The love is there. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, if I'm doing everything that I should be doing and there are no complaints, then there should be no issue for me saying that you should submit to everything that's going on. And again, we have no issues with this because she's okay with it and she understands, and it's not an easy path to learn to be submissive. It's something that is worked on daily. But when you see progress and you see effort, you're not going to call nobody out for the bullshit they've done because you see them progressing and slowly moving up. There's no point in bringing up the bad things when the good is outweighing it. Now, to mention it and to just talk up, there's a good way to talk about it. For example, when we had the conversation, one thing I said, I informed her, I said, listen, my girls, I want them to understand when they're dealing with a good man that's doing what he needs to do and taking care of home, I need them to understand what it means for them to be submissive, right? Not to be controlled, but to be submissive, right? And again, we're not talking about them going off dealing with no bums, people that ain't working, trying to take advantage of them. I'm talking about a real decent good man. But in order for them to really see that, they need to see you do that. They need to see you emulate it so they know what it looks like. I can tell them and try to, give them pointers all day long about what it means or what it looks like. But until they physically and actually see it, it's going to be hard for them to understand what I'm trying to say. It's going to be confusing to them. And I let her know, I am doing this. Not only will you be doing this, will it be helping us, but it's also helping the girls at the end of the day. It's also helping the boys understand what they should see, what they should expect. One of the reasons that I have these conversations with her is because I kind of realize somewhere down the line that some conversations, when I have them, I'm a bit aggressive. Because that conversation could have went a completely different way by me stating something like, oh, well, if you don't want to choose to be submissive to me like I'm telling you to, because I have daughters I'm raising, then I can go find somebody else to do that. You see how crazy that sounds versus what I said before? So I learned to have healthy conversations about the change I want to see. And that has also helped out. I'm not going to sit here and say it hasn't. It has definitely helped out more. So with these conversations being had, with the understanding being there, the compassion being there, it's so much easier for us to grow, move along further, do what we have to do in life, because the small petty shit is slowly being worked out, slowly being taken care of. And that's great. You know what I mean? You want to grow together if you want to get stuff done. But one thing we do away with, we don't deal with double standards. You know that? We don't deal with double standards. If you ask anybody in my home, they'll tell you I'm the cook, but guess what? That don't mean she can't. Because when she told me that the only reason she doesn't a lot is because she don't really cook that often or she don't know how, guess what I started doing? I started helping her learn. You think I helped her learn because I wanted her to start cooking for me all the time? Guess what? Now that she knew how to cook some stuff, I still do most of the cooking. That was not for her to do it for me. You know what that was for? For the days I might be at work late and she do need to cook for the kids. For the time where I may not be around and they are hungry and she need to cook for them or she need to make something to eat. I did that for her so that she can grow as a person. It's not for me because I'm still going to sit up here and cook. I'm still going to take care of home. I'm still going to help out. We help each other. On the days I'm not feeling it and I can't do it, she's doing it for me and vice versa. We hold each other accountable in a healthy way now, and it's great. But I'm not about to sit here and make it seem like things are being done just for my benefit, because that is not fair. That's not fair at all. That strictly is for the benefit of her as a person as a whole. Anything I come and have a conversation with her about, I always do it in a way to show it that I'm not belittling you. I'm not talking down on you. I'm not doing anything. I want to get in your head about this situation, or I want to get in your head about this because I want to know where you want to go, what you want to do, where is it going to go. For example, I wanted her to start a business, but I told her, I don't want you to start one just because I'm telling you to. I want you to do something you really enjoy, right? Something she likes. So guess what we're doing? We're putting our heads together. We're working together to get what she wants to do up and running and taken care of so she can start doing that. I told her right now you're not working and it's no big rush on you getting back to work, so why not start doing something you like? At least start learning about it, getting it taken care of. Teamwork. I can help you get through it. I just need you to help me get through it. You know what I mean? That's it. Teamwork makes the dream work. And we don't, like those double standards and shit, it's gone, man. We don't deal with none of that. When it comes to washing, we help. If I throw them in the washer, she'll throw them in the dryer. We both fold together. Sometimes if I've been too tired or if I got to go to work after we done washed, I come home sometimes and she done it all already. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing. Is it okay that to do stuff to help each other out to make sure that it's easier for the next? It is perfectly fine to do so. We don't do that whole. All right. Here's the thing. We consider our home a trophy room. What that means is everybody in that home is a prize. Everybody is a trophy. Everybody is a prize. So we don't play that I'm the prize, you got to chase me. I'm the prize, you got to chase me. What we do is we show how much we appreciate each other because of everything we do to help each other. We do little things to comfort each other to make sure to know, like, I really appreciate you. Like recently we've been doing the whole dates thing. Like, it's time for another one actually coming to think about that. I'm going to make that happen this weekend. Pay for a babysitter so we can go out on a date. You know what I mean? Things like that. We do stuff because, man, you don't understand that the most important person when you're doing something is your teammate. And we have gotten to a place where, because we're so great with the kids at being teammates when it comes to taking care of the kids, now everything else is just kind of falling into place. Miscommunication is one hell of a thing, but when you get it worked out, you get it worked out. But one other thing I'll say is, man, like, listen, coming from a man that was like this, some of us as men, we just need to learn how to put our foot down. As simple as that. Learn how to stand your ground without being violent, without being aggressive. Without actually, without being ignorant in a way, for lack of a better word right now. Learn how to stand your ground, but do it in a healthy way. Learn how to show that you have boundaries that they cannot be crossed, and you don't have to lift a finger to reinforce them. That's all it takes. That's all it is. I get sometimes, you may want to always make the woman happy, but the world don't run off of feelings. It runs off of facts. And logically, sometimes you just have to remind them and you have to put your foot down on some things to let it be known that, you're here to lead for a reason. You know what I mean? It's really all you have to do sometimes. I'm not even going to lie. I thought it was more than that, but it wasn't. It wasn't at all. But when you talk about co-parenting, right? I'm going to throw something out there that I might get grilled for, but if I get grilled for it, I don't care, but I'm going to say it anyway because it needs to be said. Sorry, it doesn't need to be said. I just have to use it. I have to say it as a reference. Co-parenting, you need balance, okay? Regardless of what stats are out there, what it shows, you need balance. Well, sorry, not regardless of the stats, but like right now, the stats show that regardless whether the child is with a two-parent household or just a single-father household, the kids are a better fit. Being raised, they are more disciplined and responsible in a single-father household or a two-parent home, right? Which means that whether the father's around, when the father's around, the kid does so much better, regardless of the mother being there or not, right? That's a stat that we have out, which is a proven fact. Is what they show. However, like just because that is shown, that still does not mean that that child does not need both parents, okay? Because regardless of how well the child does with or without the mother around or the father around, the kid needs both, you know. For example, I was happy that my mom ran into a man that was a father-like figure for me that can give me an example of what it means and what you need to do to be a man, what responsibilities you got to take care of and you got to handle and be on your shit. You know what I mean? So I'm happy I had that. I'm happy I did. But at the same time, you know, like my mom showed me the nurturing side, you know, to be gentle, be caring, you know, be nice to people, you know, respect people, you know, all of that good stuff. So even though I'm sure my father can or could have shown me that, you know, I still wouldn't take away from the fact that I still needed my mother around, right? I still needed her, regardless of what it is. No one can nurture you like a mother can. Simple as that. So when I say that, when it comes to balance, us doing this at each other's necks, I can raise my kids better than you can raise the kids. It's pointless because at the end of the day, all you are really hurting is the child. That's all you're really hurting. You know what I mean? And I hear a lot of young black men complain, and their biggest complaint is the fact that they hear black women tell them they don't need a man. It's so crazy. Young men my age, older men sometimes, one of the biggest complaints is they get tired of hearing black women tell them they don't need a man. You know, and it sucks to hear stuff like that when all you want to do is be a man. You know, you want to be around. You want to do what you have to do to take care and provide and protect, be a leader. And you constantly get told that you're not needed. The one thing you know, the few things you know you'll be great at as a man, you get told you're not needed for. That's crazy. One guy told me, he said, man, you know what's so funny is, you know, I don't hear any other race say that. And it's crazy because if you watch videos on, you know, podcasts, that's a common thing that's being said, that you don't hear a lot of other races go around talking about they don't need a man. It's only black women. And personally, you know, I've seen it happen, but I also know a lot of black women that are enabling the fact that they need a man. They want a man. They understand that they need to be submissive. They understand that they need to do these and play their roles, and a man needs to play his role. There's women I've heard, so I don't really want to jump on either side of that because I just feel like, yeah, maybe something that shouldn't be said, and you know, it is hurtful to a black man to hear from a black woman that he's not needed for the only few things he wants to do for you is provide and protect, you know, and lead. So all I'm saying is let's try to find better ways to have conversations like that without attacking each other. You know what I mean? Because in all reality, we do need each other. A man needs a woman needs a man. Because without each other, we couldn't, you know, make children. We couldn't procreate at all. So the world would end. Let's be honest on that. So we do need each other to keep the world going for sure. That's a definite fact, right? On top of that, there are certain things that a woman is going to be able to do better than a man can do, and certain things a man can do that a woman can't do. But the reason that those things are there is because of balance. Y'all are there to help each other for those reasons. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. It's for those reasons. And y'all are still at each other's necks over who can do that better. women out here trying to be men, so they want to lift TVs and do all of this good extra stuff, and they want to hardwired what do you call it? God, I can't even think of the name right now. But I'm not, and again, shout out to y'all to know how to do it. It's okay to know how. I'm not telling you not to know how, not to get your money, not to get in the trade, not to be smart, not to get knowledge. I'm not telling you that at all. But let's say you with a man that can do the same things. Let him take care of it. And if he's doing something that you think might be better, how about you throw some advice out for him? Perfect metaphor I can say for this. There was a woman, and she said for the last 7 years, whenever her man, he was a gamer, all right? He was a gamer. Whenever he would get stuck on the hard part of a game or a story, and he didn't know what to do next or where to go, she said she would Google the game, Google the part he's on, and she would look it up and throw out vague suggestions on what he should do. Vague suggestions. Now, that was just dope. She didn't have to. She's been doing it for 7 years running. Do you know the kind of commitment she has to that man for that? That is amazing. I say that because if little things like that can be shown on how to help each other out, it's just amazing. Balance. That's all it is. Balance. She's not yelling at him being on the game. She's not talking about him for his little, he may have a temper tantrum. I don't really know how every other man handles a video game, but I see clips and it's wild. First of all, I ain't never breaking none of my shit because I done got so mad at the game. I'm sorry. Y'all are wild for that. I paid for that shit. That's going back and staying where it needs to be stayed. But at the end of the day, I just like the fact that she actually took the time out to find a solution to help him without even, it didn't even take that much effort. It was minimal. Just to pull out our phone and Google it. We pull out our phones 1,000,000 times a day. It's crazy, 1,000,000 times a day. Balance is here to help us help each other, right? You lean on me, I lean on you. I grow and get bigger, I pull you up with me as long as you're willing to grow, right? I'm not pulling dead weight, but as long as you're willing to grow. And I got a kind heart, and I like the people around me to have kind hearts. But one thing I do say is they always say, why do I still smile big and love so hard for everybody around me if people are still out to try to do me wrong? Because bad intentions will never bring good results. They won't. They won't. They will not at all. Bad intentions will never bring good results. You may think you have won the little battle out there, whatever was going on, but you are not going to win that war. Your bad intentions are going to come to the light sooner or later, and it's going to all come tumbling down on you, not the people you want to hurt. You're going to be fucked over at that point. Then what you going to be doing? Then what you going to be feeling? So all in all, man, it's y'all want to fight each other. It's a tireless game. Pointless, and nobody's gonna ever win that way. But I kid you not, if you just take the time to relax and actually work as a team, work together, you'll get so much further in life, so much further together, so much further with everything going on. I'm just over y'all and this whole we at each other's necks, I gotta be better than this person, when in all reality we are here to work together. And if you cannot work together with the person you are with, then maybe you do not need to be with that individual. That's what I can say to that. Another thing that really I want to talk about, man, when it comes to all of that is our children. Like raising these kids on principles. You know what I mean? I keep seeing everything about all of the women that want to just take the man for the money. And then these same women have sons and or daughters, right? They have kids. So let me talk about my household. As you see, I want my children to understand how it is to be treated all around. I want my boys to understand what it's like. My kids know I go to work. My kids say, you go to work all the time. Like, they don't like that I go to work so much, but somebody got to pay the bills, right? But my kids understand, my boys and my girls, they know that I go to work all the time. So they'll see a man has to go to work, take care of the family, right? Do what he got to do, but also show my kids love. On top of that, I show them when it comes to their mom or when it comes to that, how to treat a woman, how to act accordingly. My daughters, I give them flowers all the time. I open doors. I make sure my son opens doors. Valentine's Day came up. We went early in the morning to get flowers. Went and took it to mom and sisters. Happy Valentine's Day. I teach them what to do and also what to expect. I want them to see both sides of the dynamics so they're not confused. When we have issues with each other, yes, we have issues sometimes in front of the kids, but what we also do? We also work it out in front of the kids. So that way our kids see that we had disagreements, but we also sat down and had conversations to work past those disagreements. We got on a leveling playing field and we understood each other without attacking each other or without trying to violate each other. Some of y'all are not there yet, but you will get there sooner or later. I'm just saying. So, as far as my girls, they see at the end of the day what a man is going to do for you, what he's supposed to do. But just because they see it all don't mean that, don't mean my girls ain't going to know how to open a door for themselves, because they will. But they will also know if a man is around, he should get the door first. If he don't, hey, I'll get it myself. No big deal. That's cool. Right? They should know it all. They should know, hey, look, I'm not finna start no fight with no man, because if I don't want to be hit, I'm not finna put my hands on nobody. And yes, I'm going to tell my daughters to call the police on y'all. They going to call me first, but you better hope the police get there before I do. Yeah, that's all I can say. But all in all, because I'm going to raise them to know not to put their hands on nobody unless they want to get hit. Because if my daughters call me talking about they didn't slap this man 1,000,000 times and then he hit them, I'm going to tell her, well, what did you learn today? You learned that you can't beat a man, right? So you shouldn't put your hands on him. Of course me and that man going to have a conversation, right? Of course we're going to have a conversation. But I also want my daughters to be accountable for what they're doing. I want it to be fair, right, at the end of the day. But I'm hoping I don't have to raise my children, or I'm raising them in a way where they don't have to show violence through physicality, I don't want them to be violent and be physical with it. I want them to be, if they get angry and upset, I want them to be able to walk away for a second, calm down, control it, come back and have a conversation. That's what I want them to do. But at the end of the day, one thing I keep trying to ask all of these so-called parents and adults, I want them to know is, for these women out here wanting to use these men, what if that was your son? What would you want him to do? Because a lot of y'all wouldn't want y'all sons to be played with. I just seen a video of a lady going off on social media because girls was trying to use her son, and she wasn't having that shit. She didn't like it. But you see what I mean? Think about it when it's your kids, what you're out here doing, what you're leading by example, what you're showing them. Because in my household, what we want to show these children are, you want to work hard, you want to take care of yourself, you want to take care of your family, make sure everybody's okay, do what you got to do, and you want to be successful, you want to be respectful, and you want to have discipline, right? That's the bare minimum I can ask for. If my kids come out with all of that and they grow up and they end up being, whatever they want to be, it doesn't matter. I don't care if my kids decide to be, a water boy. Hey, he's going to be the best goddamn water boy on this Mississippi, instead out of the Mississippi. You know what I mean? But I'll be there to support them. But as long as they got the basics, they taking care of themselves in life, doing what they got to do, I want to raise them to understand that life do be lifing. I'll give you that for sure. Life do be lifing, but at the end of the day, you have to learn how to take care of life, how to handle those curves that come your way. I am completely honest with my kids, man, and I tell their mom all the time, we are raising black children, especially my boys. I said, I'm being tough on them because the world is going to be tough on them. So yeah, it may be tough love, but it's discipline and respect. Regardless of what it is or what goes on, my kids love me to death, and she cannot understand for the life of her why they still love me so much and I'm so strict. And I said, because they know anything that I do or I say is out of love. I'm not out here, I'm not whooping my children for petty shit because they didn't fought each other or something didn't happened or they didn't, I'm not, no, stuff like that. And then I'm having conversations with these kids. My number one rule is treat them how I was not, right? So when they get in trouble, I have conversations the first time. We talk about it, why it's wrong, why you shouldn't do it, what the consequences can be, what can come from it. And after we have that conversation, we leave it at that. If it happens again, then we'll talk about disciplinary actions. But I don't have to whoop them until the third time. That's when it's like, oh, you just not listening? I need to show you how serious it is. And there has never been a point in time where after that third time and they got disciplined with a whooping or getting something taken away, that it has not changed what they needed to change. It works for us for now. It works for me. And it happens. But at the end of the day, I am raising black children, especially these, man, my boys are what I'm really concerned about. You know what I mean? They're going to be young black men in America. You know? But as long as I teach them to be respectable, to have discipline, as long as I show them, yeah, I may be hard on them. Oh, well. I have to teach them to be the bigger person. It's crazy. I have to teach them to be the bigger person. They ain't even did nothing wrong yet. They ain't did nothing wrong. Don't plan on it. But they need to be taught how to be the bigger person already. Just because of how it is. They need to learn that when they go out in public, sometimes they're going to be looked at a certain type of way. Oh, well, ignore it. Live your life. And at the end of the day, I'm going to teach my kids that people are jealous of us. You can look at it any way you want, but people are just jealous because what they say, they hate us because they ain't us. And what you need to do with people like that is kill them with kindness. That's all you have to do. Kill them with kindness. Because they're not going to understand why every attempt they try to make on you or assault you, you're able to push off a shrug because it's not going to bother you. You know why? Because I want my kids to know when you give them a reaction, they won. When you give them a reaction, they won. Right? Just need to understand that. And I need to drill that in their heads because they're going to get tested throughout life so many times. Whether they at a young age is at, my oldest son is 7. He can get tested right now because he's 7 years old. He could be in front of his grandma's house playing with a toy gun and get tested by a police officer right now. Or it could be a neighbor that think it's something real and get tested right now. You know what I mean? Small things. And I worry about that every single day of my life. So I do everything I can, everything in my power to make sure they are prepared for it. I don't hide reality from them. I'm being completely honest with them, and I let it be known. I tell them certain things they can't do, and I explain why they can't do it. But that's just me as a father, man. I love my kids, and I want to see them do the best. I want them to be better than me. So, of course, in life, I want them to have a better path than I had, better guidance than I had, better opportunities than I had. You know what I mean? I really am excited to see if all, hopefully, or if one of them wants to go to college or at least learn a trade. And I want to be there to support them through that. I want to see how much greater, they can be than I was. That's exactly what I want to see. I be telling my son all the time, he tells me I'm strong. I say, one day you're going to be stronger than me. You know that? You're going to be better than me. So you may think I'm strong now, but if you keep, like he do his little push-ups and stuff, but like you keep working hard at it, man, you'll be stronger than me. You'll be better than me. Then I'll be able to look up to you and you can help me get better. You can help me improve. You can help me get to where you at. I tell them that all the time. You know what I mean? I tell my daughters, y'all are so smart. I speak confidence into them because I want them to grow up knowing that there's nothing that they cannot handle. They are my kids. I know there's nothing they cannot handle. I know it. So just sit on that for a while and think about it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of y'all will think you can just throw money around and call it a day and everything is good with parenting. But money does not fix everything. I'm just being honest. It's not going to fix everything. No matter what you may say or feel, or a lot of you will react to some of this stuff off of feelings. And to make a statement about your feelings, you do have a right to be wrong. You do. You can't be right in every single situation. And if you're arguing with me based off of feelings, you have a right to be wrong. That's what you can't understand. One other thing that I wanted to talk about before I go really quick here, because I'm almost almost short on time here, but I'll make this one quick. There's this article, and it's called, or they talk about the 5 stages of a man's life. And basically, this is by Brian Loritz. I hope I didn't butcher that last name. But he talks about the 5 stages. The first one is going to be boyhood. Birth, which is from, newborn all the way up till about 11 or 12. This is the only stage in a man's life which has a clearly defined age range. Boyhood is marked by such things as innocence, imagination, and adventure. Boyhood is also the stage where you are naturally being a consumer more than anything else. Someone is responsible for your care. Others feed you, shelter you, clothe you, and the like. very little is required of you by way of responsibility. So, as a boy, you don't really have too much to worry about. You can have fun and enjoy life. Then you have your adolescence, which this stage of manhood can simply be defined as wanting the privileges of adulthood without the responsibilities. Adolescence is not much an age range as it is a mindset. Because of this, some sociologists have suggested that we are in an age of extended adolescence, which goes out to mid-30s. The surefire recipe for extended adolescence is coddling mothers and passive fathers. Some have even suggested adolescence is especially rampant in middle or upper middle class homes. The clearest example of adolescent behavior are men who choose to cohabitate where they can get the privileges of a committed relationship without the responsibilities. Of course, that's not the driving reason for every instance. So that may be a big part in it, but it's not the driving reason. Adulthood, which this stage can simply be defined as embracing responsibility. It's at this point we can call this person not just a male, but a man. They don't make excuses. Instead, they take responsibility. A man has emerged from adolescence when they take ownership for their lives and others they have chosen to commit to, spouse, kids, etc. They do hard things like get a job, keep a job, pay bills, and contribute to the well-being of others. Unlike boyhood, they are not marked by a consumer's mindset, but a contributor's mindset. They bring life to others. Then you have mentor. They develop a track record of embracing responsibility faithfully, and other people will take notice. Asking you to mentor them, mentor has its origins in Greek mythology, where Odysseus was headed off to war and wanted someone to care for his son, Telemachus. I hope I said that right. The duty was assigned to an older, wiser, responsible man named mentor. Adolescents care about, and now mentors care about the future. Adolescents can get past themselves or can't get past themselves. Mentors are focused on others. Mentors want to multiply themselves for the good of others in society. Show me a person who is too busy to have consistent cups of coffee and meals with younger men, and I will show you a person who has stagnated, if not regressed, in their manhood journey. Wow. Also, the last one here, the final stage of a man's life is that of a patriarch. One does not become a patriarch because they have aged into it. Oh no, society does not need more old people. We need patriarchs. A patriarch is a person who has leveraged the odometer of their life to invest down in succeeding generations for a time they will not see. If you are 60 plus, you should be holding court at the local diner with a long line of young men wanting to glean from your life. And then the key, life is all about seasons. The man who is aware of the season they are in the best position to make the most of it for the benefit of themselves and others. Men need awareness intentionally, and other men need to make the most of this process. Every great man I have met has had another great man inspire them in their journey of manhood. That great man who inspired you was aware of the reason and intentionally leveraged it for your benefit. Let's pay it forward. And with that being said, you know what I mean? I hope y'all take that into consideration and understand. Also, there's some things I'm working on where, I've been looking more into it with it. I want to focus more on the youth when it comes to stuff like that, and I'm putting something together for it. I'm not saying forget the adults, Y'all can still hit me up. We can still talk. We still work it out. But I also want to transition more to the youth because, remember, those are the future us, the future people of this country. They little ones. They need more guidance. They need help, right? So we'll talk more about it next week. But hopefully we'll get more into it, and I'll let y'all know. But it's some good things coming. And the name I'm going to go with, it's a little, but we'll talk about it. But don't forget to follow me on all the social networks. Mark Quan Thomas for Facebook, or Quan Facebook Joe Thomas. You got TikTok, which is Juss Quanni 23, as well as Instagram and Twitter is Juss Quanni or Quanni 702. Other than that, I'll catch y'all next week again on the hottest radio station on the planet, Hot 702.5 FM. Peace, love, and hair grease. I'll catch y'all next week.